Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, you are welcome. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you for tuning in. In this video, I'm going to be explaining in details how to draft a basic skirt. Now, if you are interested in this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel so you can enjoy more videos like this. But first, let me start by introducing myself. Hi, my name is Lilian of Lilian Fashion Lounge, and I talk about everything fashion, pattern drafting, online and physical tutoring, and many more. So, let's get started.
So for this tutorial, I'm going to be using a pattern paper, my marker, ruler, and tape rule. So the first thing that we're going to be doing to get our basic skirt is our top line. So to get our top line, we're going to be measuring 1 inch from the tip of the paper. So I'm going to be measuring 1 inch across the paper, then I'm going to be connecting it with a straight line. So after connecting it, the next thing you are going to be needs to label. So I'm going to be labeling the line, which is the waistline. So we are going to be using the top line as our waistline. So the next thing we're going to be doing is to measure our hip line. So to measure the hip line, you are going to be using the distance between your waist line and your hip line, so which is also called the hip length. So my hip length is 10. So I'll measure across the paper and connect with a straight line. Then of course I'm going to identify it. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to be doing is to measure our knee length. So to measure the knee length, you're going to be measuring your knee length from the waist to your knee. Then mine is 26, so I'll also measure it here. Then you label it, of course. So now that I've gotten the vertical lines, we're going to now get our horizontal line. Now the first horizontal line that we are going to get is what we call the border line. Now the border line it determines where all our measurement is going to be. So to get your border line, you're going to be using the biggest part of your body, either the waist or your hip. Now for me, I'm going to be using my hip because my hip is the biggest part of my body. So I'm going to be dividing it by 2. So my hip measurement is 43. You're going to be adding your ease, which is 2 inches, then you divide it by 2, making it 22.5. Then you mark it and connect with a straight line. So we are going to be connecting the border line. So after connecting the border line, the next one that we are going to be getting is the vertical lines for our waist, hip, and knee line. Now to get our waistline, we are going to be dividing our waist circumference plus ease by 4. Now to get in order to get our ease, what I know you're going to be asking, what is a ease? Ease is also a term for allowance. So we call it wearing ease. We call it wearing ease because it is the ease that is going to be used to make the clothes fit our body. That's why it is called wearing ease. It is what we add after measuring our body measurements. It is going to be used to make the clothes fit. When we use our exact measurement to measure our clothes, it is not going to fit as it's supposed to fit. So for the waist, it is 1 inch. For the hip, if you notice when I was adding my when I was measuring my borderline, I added 2 inches. So we have added the 2 inches for it, so I'll just divide it by 4. Then I'm going to mark whatever I get for the hip. I will mark it for the knee line. Then for the I'm going to connect it with a straight line. So for the hip to the waistline, instead of connecting it with a straight line, with a ruler, it is not going to be. If you don't have a hip line, you can also connect with a straight line, but it is advisable to use your hip curve to connect it. And the reason is because it is our body shape is not straight, it is curvy. That is why it is advisable to use your hip curve. So after doing that, I'm going to before marking, I'm also going to add my dart allowance. My dart allowance is what to add after marking your waist circumference with your wearing ease. So after marking, then you add your waist dart, your dart allowance. So now to get our dart allowance, we are going to be marking your nipple to nipple measurements on your waist. So whatever you get, you will mark it. Mine is 8, so I divided it by 2 and I marked it on the waist measurement. And now I'm going to be measuring. If you added 1 inch, you'll be measuring half inch on each side of the dart of the bust distance. Then after doing that, you are going to measure your dart. Now for the dart for the front is always shorter than the dart for the back. That is the reason why I went ahead to label, so that you are going to understand it better. For the front, the dart length is 4.5 inches, while for the back it is 5.5 inches. You can decide to use 6 inches, but I use 5.5 inches for this one. So you're going to measure your dart length and you connect it as seen. Now that we have already drafted our basic skirt, there is what we call skirt alterations. We also have bodice alterations and the rest. Now to get our skirt alterations, you're going to measure you're going to measure half inch from the at the center front and half inch at both dart legs. Then you connect it, as you can see me do here. You're going to be connecting it back to the waist. Now that is for the front. Now for the back, what you're going to be doing is you're going to measure half inch on the waist. You're going to be measuring it on the waist. Then when you measure it on the waistline, then you connect it to the hip. Now I know you're going to be asking that, what is the essence of a skirt alteration? Now the essence is, when we are connecting the lines from the waist to the hip, I use a curvy line. That is because our body shape is not straight. That is the reason why we are alterating it, so that it is going to fit our body shape, because our waist is not straight. That the same way our waist too is not straight, our waist to hip. Now the next thing we're going to be doing now is to get our vents, our skirt vents. Now this is actually not important, but because we are drafting a basic skirt, that is why we are using this. Now to get our vent, we're going to be adding another paper on the center back for the vents. Now from the knee line, I'm going to be coming up by 6 inches. Now you can also decide to come up by 5 inches or 7 inches, depending on how long you want your vent to be, but mine is going to be 6 inches. Then on the width, I'm going to be using 2 inches. So I'll connect it, as you can see me do here. So after connecting it, the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be getting 90 degrees on that vent. So I'll be measuring 1.5 inches on each side of the vent. Then I'll connect it with a slant line. Then I'm going to be dividing that slant line, I'm going to be dividing it by 2. Then I'm going to get my 90 degrees. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be cutting out the ones that I don't need. I'm going to be cutting them out. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions for me, please leave it in the comment section. I'm going to be replying your comments. So see you guys in the next one. Bye.